trying to pull me down with your heavy words.
I chose to record Slingshot, honestly, because after we wrote it, or as we were writing it, there was just so much energy in the song, and the way the lyrics came together, I had a vision kind of for it, and we were so excited the way it came together, and I thought it was something that a lot of people would be able to relate to. And also, after releasing my debut EP, I thought it was a perfect follow-up song to that, because it kind of introduced the world to my story, my eating disorder recovery story, and this song just kind of embodies what I'm about, to keep going in life. And so I thought this would be a great one that people could really relate to. I co-wrote Slingshot with Melissa Sheridan, who is an awesome songwriter. I've written with her before for some of my other songs that you guys have heard. And then also Evan Klein, and this was actually the first time that we had all written together, which was super crazy. Coming into a session, you never really know like how you're all going to jive for the first time, but it was just kind of a really inspired session, and we were super happy with what we came up with. Brad Hill, Evan Klein, and I co-produced this song. I've worked with Brad before in my debut EP, and then Evan Klein, when he was one of the songwriters, he just brought a lot of life into the track in the actual session, and so we all put our heads together and kind of came up with what we wanted it to actually sound like, but it was not too far from the demo actually, but we just took it to the next level. I chose the image for the cover because I wanted there to be a stark contrast with the darkness, which kind of represents the setbacks in life, and propelling forward, which was like me, kind of the strong stance figure with the glitzy sequins, kind of showing that light through the battle at the end of the tunnel. The inspiration behind Slingshot really comes from my personal story, my recovery story with my eating disorder. I kind of have a mentality that you've got to keep going in life, and you can let the setbacks be setbacks, or you can actually let them be setups. It kind of just depends how you view them, how you view life's difficulties, and it can kind of propel you forward, and things can make you stronger, or you can let that hold you back. And so also one of my favorite stories is the biblical story of David and Goliath. And David was the underdog of all underdogs. His brothers were older than him, and he was the youngest, and they were all out to war trying to defeat Goliath, this giant. And he was a shepherd out in the fields, and nobody would think that somebody like that would be able to save the nation of Israel, but he did with a slingshot. And I've always loved that story. And so just with my story and my recovery story, and then kind of thinking about my and a lot of independent artists' journeys in Nashville, there's a lot of ups and downs. Every day you're either going from a high to a low, or trying to figure out what's next, and you might be uninspired for a while, but you got to keep pushing through that. And so just the independent journey that you're on as an artist, I thought this would kind of represent that well. And so I had the idea of Slingshot just with all those things in mind, and wanted to turn that into a song. My favorite lyrics in Slingshot are probably "Bring on Goliath" and "I'll take your stones and take your sticks," just because it builds that imagery of the slingshot, and it references that David and Goliath, which is kind of the epitome of being an underdog and facing that battle.
Shaking off the dust, oh, I'm a fire.